Hello. For those of you who are joining early, we are just getting settled. We'll begin just about a minute or so after the top of the hour. So just sit tight and we'll begin shortly. Thanks. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining the EnergyTech University Prize webinar. We're going to give everyone another minute or so to get logged in. So if you'll just sit tight, we will begin momentarily. Thanks. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Once again, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's EnergyTech University Prize informational webinar. My name is Jackie Petrie with the EnergyTech Up team at the National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Before we get started, I want to go over a few quick housekeeping items and reminders. By now, I'm sure everyone is very familiar with Zoom, but if not, you have a couple options for connecting to audio today. You can change those settings by navigating to the bottom left-hand corner of your screen and selecting a different speaker. You can also call in and listen by phone. And we will be sending out a recording of this webinar and a copy of slides. So if you miss anything, we'll be sending that out through HeroX in the next couple of days. Just a reminder again to all of our panelists to remember to stay muted when not speaking. And lastly, to ask a question, please submit those at any time during the webinar through the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will also be monitoring the chat, but please try to put all of the questions in the Q&A tab just so we make sure we don't miss anything. And again, if you have any other audio or video difficulties during today's presentation, we'll be sending out a recording and copy of slides for you to access at a later date. And with that, I'm going to hand things over to Joe Simon, who leads the EnergyTech University Prize on the NREL team.
Thanks so much, Jackie. And hello, everyone. We're very excited that you're here and that you're interested in this program. In the next hour, we will provide a brief introduction to the program. We'll get to hear from the main program sponsor, the Office of Technology Transitions of the U.S. Department of Energy. We're happy to be joined by a few alumni of the program who will each speak for about 5 minutes on their perspectives of participation, any pieces of advice that they have for you, as well as some impacts that participation has had on their activities or their careers. Then we'll speak for a few minutes about our student track, as well as focus on all of the different bonus prizes that are available in addition to the main program structure. We'll share some information about our faculty track now in its second year. We'll highlight what was notable about our 2024 competition that you might be able to consider are likely outcomes for yourselves if you choose to participate in the 2025 competition. And then we'll share some information about the pitch event and how to spread the word. So while we always encourage you, whoever's listening to this webinar, to participate directly, we also encourage you to share it with your network, whether it's students or faculty at other institutions, others at your own school, or those within your networks. We think more is better. We do want to build a very effective ecosystem, so helping to spread the word is critical. We can't have more than one team from a particular school, and more participation leads to more innovation and impact on the market. From there, we'll have some time for closing remarks, questions, and answers. So please do put those in the chat, as Jackie mentioned, and we're happy to get those questions addressed. With that, we're excited to be here. Our Department of Energy leadership sometimes says it could be the Department of Everything, as much of what we do or all of what we do connects with energy, whether that's the communications and Zoom that we're using right now, it's how we get around, it's how we live our lives, it's how we stay comfortable, but that in that ecosystem, we're constantly in need for more innovation. That could be about how we generate electricity. Is that new forms of electricity? Is it new forms of energy in material science, in chemical form, or other elements? And where is that energy consumed and produced? Is it more deployed in our cities and towns? Is it produced where data centers need to be? Are there other issues about the time of day that we all happen to need the energy to live the lives that we hope to live? And how do we understand logistics and transportation? How do we think about material science? There's innovations associated with new types of chemistry, new types of activities that might need a unique business model to understand how that technology could be commercialized. And there's thoughts around how these businesses come to fruition. So is it about cybersecurity? Is it about financing, or all of these different elements? And leveraging technology to find a new business market fit is really critical. And that's where you come in, helping to identify business opportunities for these emerging energy technologies. These could be technologies developed at your university by others, so your faculty. It could be developed by other students and are available from your university tech transfer office. It could be developed by yourselves in your own labs or on your own free time, or it could be technology developed by a national lab that's available for license from a number of different businesses across the United States. And we're asking you to think about what is a good business plan for that given technology. We're not asking our judges to evaluate what is the best technology or is this the right team to run that business. It really is, did you create a insightful and thoughtful and well-researched business plan for commercializing that energy technology? Through that, any team has an opportunity for success, and we look forward to all of your ideas. So when you listen to myself and my colleagues speak throughout the day today, remember that you don't have to already have a business formed. You don't have to control the IP yourself. This competition really is a business plan and ideas competition where we're encouraging you to present new ideas for these emerging technologies, and the ideas are what we're awarding and what we're selecting our winners based on. Really looking forward to what you come up with. In addition, we recognize that students who are understanding more about the energy industry and the potential of these technologies can influence their careers for years to come. Faculty also play a really critical role in expanding energy technology commercialization and entrepreneurship topics at their institution. That could be developing new programs, new classes, new speaker series, new incubators, accelerators, or anything else that we haven't thought about. And so we also have funding available for faculty who seek to pursue these new ideas. So they're encouraging them to submit these ideas, and then we can evaluate the plans and hopefully set you up for success to implement those plans in the future. Just like this student track, this is a plan competition where we're providing awards for the ideas and the plans that you develop, and you're expected, or you could pursue these plans into the future. With that, the reason that we exist, the reason that the Department of Energy find this to be valuable is really to build greater engagement between more colleges, more universities, more national labs and industry. So not just those who have had a long and historical relationship with the Department of Energy, but hopefully we can engage hundreds of different schools, from community colleges through liberal arts colleges, through R1 research institutions or others, to really identify ways to collaborate with each other, with industry, with incubators, accelerators, and to really think about the possibilities for leveraging these emerging or new energy technologies. In theory, we hope to see some of these technologies get commercialized, but we really are looking at the impact on the people. Where do the students go? Where do the faculty go after participation? And whether or not they continue with that specific business plan that they presented, or if they end up in a related area, both are success because they participated in this program and found that path that influences a career, influences the industry for years to come. Overall, looking forward to support this expansion and growth at institutions all across the United States. All 50 states, all of our territories, wherever you may be located, we look forward to your participation. At a very high level, our student track is broken down into 3 sections. First, right now, we're recruiting participation, and we encourage you to explore energy technologies to find something of interest to you. And there's a very low barrier to entry. You can submit by February 3rd a 200-word summary of a technology to be leveraged and your perceived business opportunity. Based on the submissions we received, we will invite up to 225 different teams who are able to present live to judges as part of our regional pitch events, which occur virtually on March 4th, 5th, and 6th. From there, about 10% of those teams will be invited as finalists to refine their solutions and prepare to pitch in person to judges as part of a national event that will occur on Tuesday, April 30th. From there, there's a number of different prizes. In this program, we're excited that many different teams win and many different teams advance. But remember, it's a low barrier to entry. You can submit with just a 200-word summary of a technology to be leveraged and a business opportunity, and then you use the month of February to really define that business pitch that you would make at that virtual event in March. For our faculty, we have 110,000 in prizes available, and that first deadline of January 13th is really faculty who are interested in this topic area. That explore entry is primarily about their interest areas, the identified need, and some of the challenges that are preventing success in this space. And that submission is also a reasonably light lift. We encourage faculty to look at the requirements, but for any faculty who submit by January 13th, they can be one of 10 faculty explorers identified and encouraged to continue working to develop their solutions. Any faculty, though, are welcome to develop and create an implementation plan for an idea that would help to increase commercialization and energy technology entrepreneurship at their institution. So any faculty, not just the faculty explorers, can submit by April 25th to be considered for those national awards. Through these 2 tracks, we think there's many different pathways for any students and any faculty with any background to succeed. So if you are at a community college, if you're at a liberal arts school, if you're not in an engineering or business degree program, that is entirely okay. You can register with an idea and a technology you found from the lab partnering service, and then you can develop that idea using resources provided to you by the organizers, and then you can present amongst your peers and be selected for advancement in that competition. We really look forward to your participation, and you can build up teams with your roommates, people you know from high school, others across your degree program, others across your institution, or with people across different institutions all across the United States for both students and faculty. We encourage anyone from any level school to participate, and that you can participate virtually. Anyone who is invited to that national event will have previously received some funding so that hopefully you're able to travel using funding provided by the Department of Energy and not having to find your own fundraising mechanism for that travel activities. With that brief overview out of the way, I'll turn things over to Carolina for a quick welcome. Carolina.
Great. Thanks, Joe. Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Carolina Villasis, and I'm the Commercialization Program Manager at the Department of Energy's Office of Technology Transitions, or OTT. So yeah, I'm lucky enough to manage this program, the Energy Technology University Prize. And this is one of many programs that we have under the portfolio of DOE's OTT. So essentially, the Office of Technology Transitions is the commercialization arm of the Department of Energy. So our role in the department is to support all of the various offices across the department, be it the solar office, wind, water office, what have you, to try to commercialize their technologies. So meaning, let's try to get these great innovative technologies out of labs, out of kind of obscurity and into the public and into the market so that everybody can benefit from these great innovations. So we do that through various programs, working with university students, such as this program, working with our national labs across the US, working with accelerators and incubators, kind of like what Joe was mentioning. So a lot of exciting things, but yeah, definitely happy to be here for the Energy Tech Up program, and really grateful for NREL support on this. So NREL, including Joe's team, is the one that really implements this program. So super great partnership that we have, and I'm just so glad that you all are interested. I think Joe was kind of mentioning it. There's definitely a lot of money prizes, right? But there's also just a great educational opportunity here. Whether you win a prize or not, I think you get a lot out of participating in a program like this. Not all universities have maybe like entrepreneurship classes, or maybe that's not kind of your major. So this is kind of outside of your wheelhouse. I think that's a great way to kind of get exposure. I think looking back at my kind of grad school days, I think a lot of my extracurriculars or things outside of classes is what really stand out to me. So hopefully engaging in a program like this can be kind of one of the standout memories of your I guess your student life. So yeah, whether it's for building your resume for an experience, or maybe you want to launch your own startup, or maybe it is for the cash prizes, whatever the motivation, I'm glad it brought you here. And I just want to say that the Department of Energy is definitely rooting for you all to succeed. And I think Joe was mentioning how we have a number of prizes this year. We typically always do, but year over year, since this program has launched in 2022, the prizes just keep on increasing. I think because it is such a great program and the department really sees a lot of value in this program. You all are such scrappy, energetic group of students that really just take these technologies and run with it. And we love kind of seeing what you all get to complete through that. And so with that, not only does OTT fund this program, we have various partners across the Department of Energy that are putting in their own dollars to try to support the various successful kind of business plans that you all put together within their energy space. So I think Joe will probably talk about that a little bit later. And you can find all this stuff in the rules document. But yeah, all this to say, the Department of Energy across the board is super excited for you all to participate in this program, and really look forward to all of your submissions. I think with that, I'll wrap there and hand it over to our student winners from last year in the 2024 year, because I'm sure they can speak to all this experience much better than I can. So I'll hand it over to you all.
Hey, everybody. I'm George. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Rise Reforming. the company that won last year.
Yeah. And I'm Lucas Tuyaga, also co-founder with George. We started this around a year and a half ago, so a couple months before EnergyTech. Also studying the same thing as George at Chicago.
So we found this competition to be extremely helpful, not only when we were participating in it, but in the aftermath too. It's been extremely helpful in terms of exposure and visibility. So we've had a number of calls with interested investors, potential investors. We've also leveraged the competition, the publicity, and sort of the accomplishment to get a number of letters of intent from interested stakeholders and potential partners. Of course, the funding itself of the competition has been really useful for building our proof of concept. We're currently in lab at our University of Chicago,
Doing just that,
working on just that. And then we've also found that winning, EnergyTech has helped, make us a more serious competitor for other awards. So we've won a number of awards since then, and we are hoping to continue to do so. And lastly, we've made some good progress in patenting. I don't think that would have happened without our participation in EnergyTech either. And then, Lucas, I think you're going to talk more about the experience itself.
Yeah. So adding on to what George said, I think EnergyTech was the first time we actually developed a business plan, which was great. So it was, I think the biggest stepping stone in the development of our venture, forcing us to develop a business plan was great. And then also, speaking of what George mentioned about patenting, especially when we went to the finals in Austin, it was a huge networking opportunity. We actually met someone who gave us a contact for this law firm called Green Pro Bono that basically just did pro bono work for climate tech startups like us. So it's a great networking opportunity as well. Pitching in person was also great. I don't think we had ever done that in front of a panel of judges before, so that was a great experience. And then I guess one piece of advice that I would give, as Joe mentioned earlier, it's not about the best idea, but the most well-formulated business plan. So I'd pay attention to the rubric very well. But yeah, we want to thank everyone in the EnergyTech team for allowing this to happen.
Thanks very much, guys. And best of luck, everybody. It's a good experience. I hope you enjoyed as much as we did.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll turn things next to Brian Walton from Hudson University, who was one of our faculty winners as well. So thank you so much for those words from Rise Reforming. And Brian, I'll turn things over to you for a few minutes.
Thanks, Joe. I'm Dr. Brian Walton. I'm from Hudson University in Bangor, Maine. And one of the things that I found great about this experience, as Joe mentioned, it's the low barrier to entry. As a faculty track participant, one of the things that I was looking at is, do I have time for this? Is this really worth my time investing in getting this proposal together? And it was. And it was because it was such a low barrier to entry. You're doing your short summary, you're getting things established, and you're helping to formulate an idea. And my idea was not established. I decided to create an entrepreneurship and climate-focused incubator on campus. It was not something that was established before. It had been talked about, but nobody really pursued it. But it was an easy process using and leveraging the EnergyTech Up process to get that proposal done, get that submitted, and follow that up with the implementation plan. So my experience was that this was pretty much an immersive journey into innovation, collaboration, and entrepreneurship. I mean, that's essentially what it boiled down to for me. And the program provided a structured framework for not just students and faculty to explore these real-world energy challenges, but also to develop and creative technology-driven solutions. One of the things that kind of surprised me as a result of this is, one, I was able to attract funding from the Maine Venture Fund and from different state agencies who wanted to support this. It would not have happened if I didn't participate in this program. And more importantly than that, other colleges and universities who want to create incubators and accelerators and really haven't figured out where they want to go, they saw this recognition for my program and reached out and said, hey, look, would you mind helping, with our programs, which we're happy to do. So it created a community, an ecosystem, which I think is one of the best things about this Energy Tech Up program. It creates an ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship that you really just can't pass up. So I definitely recommend doing that. The impacts of the program, there are numerous impacts that you can receive. There's skill development, there's networking opportunities, it's looking at the real world applications, but it's also networking with the other participants and finding out what's going on. There are conference calls that you participate in. There are resources that the Department of Energy provides, all of which, I recommend that you take advantage of. And when it comes to the tips and advice for students or faculty considering joining the program, embrace the collaboration, leverage the resources that Energy Tech Up provides you, because they provide you with a lot of resources that you just can't get otherwise. And also focus on your impact. You want to start early with your application, and you want to focus on the impact that it's going to be, and be resilient. If you don't win the top prize, the participating in this process is by itself beneficial. So I definitely recommend doing that and being resilient, and think about the long term. What's the long-term benefit for what you want your idea or your program or your process to be? Having those things in mind as you pursue this program lead you to other opportunities that will invariably come down the road.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that perspective and all the thoughts that you had to share about your participation. Really looking forward to what comes next through that collaboration, through that networking, and all of the traction that you found in the idea that you developed. With that, I'll turn things next to my colleague, Kristen, to walk through some of the student track details. Kristen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen. I'm excited to share some of the details about the student track. That was fantastic advice. Okay, so we will have up to 225 teams invited to present live across the 15 regional Explore events. And this is what it actually looks like for the breakdown. So we'll have 15 regions across the US, 15 teams per region. We will have 3 to 5 industry judges per region. And these are the dates. So make sure that you note these based on the different time zones. And these are the regional conveners. So we're really excited to have a robust team of regional conveners this year. And again, look at those dates. Geez, for my dog. All energy technologies are welcome. And so again, thinking about that, all of the different technology areas of interest, you must focus on technologies that produce and or store energy, improve the efficiency of energy consumption or energy transmission, or increase the security and reliability of energy systems. And so it has been mentioned, and we'll go into more detail in a minute, several DOE technology offices are also offering technology bonus prizes for the best student entries related to the different technology offices' respective fields. Again, a reminder, Joe mentioned this, and it's worth saying multiple other times, this is not a startup competition. So you don't need to own or have a license to the IP. You don't need to have a business formed. That's one of the main goals of this prize. And so what that looks like is you can actually go and look for IP ownership through DOE resources. It can be a technology that you or your team developed. It could be a technology from your institution, your university. It could be a national lab developed technology through the lab partnering service. And it could also be an emerging technology that's of interest to you and your team. This is the lab partnering service. Note the website at the bottom left, labpartnering.org. And so there's nearly 2,000 technologies available for license from DOE's national labs. It's a really great website that shows all of the different technologies. And about 100 of the energy technologies are highlighted for consideration for the competitors of this prize specifically. Again, you are not restricted by using these technologies that are highlighted, but they are earmarked for your consideration. Again, note that website right there, labpartnering.org. And in the official rules, it indicates the topic of interest, what you'll do, and then how winners are determined. So please refer back to that document for all of the details for this. We released it originally as September 30th and updated it earlier this month. All of these resources can be found on HeroX under resources. And again, it walks through the definitions for eligibility, technologies, areas of interest, the prizes to win, how to enter, what to submit, and how winners are determined. So winners are determined based on the strength of the plan presented. Again, it's looking at the whole plan. This is the rubric so that you can see what we'll be looking at. For the regional pitches, they will be virtual. You will have a 5-minute pitch, 3-minute Q&A, and you will present the initial idea and opportunity. Each region will have one regional finalist, and then finalists will win $5,000 each and are invited to refine the pitch for the refine and pitch phase of the competition. I also encourage you to look at the bonus prize and how the bonus prizes finalists will be determined. So the program offices will watch the recorded regional pitches, and up to one finalist will be identified for each bonus prize. Finalists will win $5,000 each and will also be invited to the refine and pitch phase of the competition. So up to 27 different teams can win a share of $485,000 in prizes, and prizes are awarded for your work in this competition. Again, do not come with IP or ownership transfer and no further obligations, and there are no reporting requirements. This is what the student track looks like. We'll keep repeating the dates over and over. Registration closes on February 3rd, 2025. Again, the regional events are March 4th, 5th, and 6th. And then the regional and bonus prize finalists each receive $5,000. The national pitch event will occur Tuesday, April 30th in Denver, Colorado. And at that time, at the national event, prizes are for $50,000 for first place, $35,000 for second place, $25,000 for third place, and $20,000 for each of the 10 technology bonus prizes. The undergrad only bonus prize and the national IP license bonus prize. So these are the prizes available to the student team. You can see the category and the amount. And then students from anywhere in the US pursuing any degree at any level are welcome and invited to compete. This is the eligibility. So a team composed of 2 or more enrolled students at an accredited US-based collegiate institution, any level of student. The team captain must be a US citizen or permanent resident, and only students can present to judges. So following the close of registration on February 3rd, teams will be assigned to a regional conveners Explore event to enable an equitable competition. Business plans that have not previously received notable funding may receive preference by prize administrator, and the competition is seeking new ideas and plans. I will now pass it over to Hannah to discuss the bonus prizes.
Thanks, Kristen. This year we are offering $300,000 in bonus prizes. These are available to all student teams in addition to the Explore Phase prizes and the National Pitch Phase prizes. So this year we are awarding $5,000 to each finalist to get them to the national competition. And then we are awarding $20,000 to each winner for each bonus prize category. The Arctic Energy Office is offering a prize for Alaska-based students, specifically geared towards Arctic regions. The Geothermal Technologies Office is offering a prize to address key exploration and operational challenges in geothermal. The Office of Nuclear Energy is focused on accelerating the development and deployment of advanced technologies supporting advanced reactors and fuel cycle technologies. And then the Office of Electricity has 3 separate bonus prizes this year. Each one is offering $25,000. These are the Grid Enhancing Technologies, Grid Scale Power Electronics, and Long Duration Energy Storage prizes. The Solar Energy Technologies Office is offering a prize. It's pretty broad within solar. They are seeking to improve the performance, affordability, reliability, and value of solar in the US. Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies Office is seeking to identify mechanisms for commercially viable hydrogen technologies to achieve market liftoff, support domestic competitiveness, job creation, and achievement of climate goals. The Office of Manufacturing and Energy Supply Chains is looking for plans to increase the adoption of industrial decarbonization, specifically at small and medium-sized manufacturers, and the Water Power Technologies Office. Again, this one is pretty broad within water power. Like solar, they are seeking to improve the performance, affordability, reliability, and value of hydropower or marine energy in the US. And then the Office of Technology Transitions, OTT, is also offering 2 bonus prizes. The first one is the National Lab IP Licensing Bonus Prize, and that is given to a team that specifically focuses on a technology from the lab partnering service that we've mentioned previously. And then they are also offering a bonus prize to an undergraduate-only team. So for this one, the team must be made up of only undergraduate students who are either pursuing an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. Back to you, Kristen.
Great, thanks. And now I'll discuss the faculty track details. So faculty are invited to compete for a share of $110,000 in cash prizes for the successful development and implementation of educational activities that engage an increasing number of students on energy technology, commercialization, and the entrepreneurship topics at their institution. So this is what this looks like. The faculty who submit by January 13th are eligible for the Faculty Explorer Awards, and any faculty can submit to the implement phase even if they did not submit to the Explore phase. So we have $5,000 to up to 10 different of the Faculty Explorer entries, a national prize of $25,000 for first place, $15,000 for second place, and $10,000 for third place. 5 additional entries will be awarded $2,000 as runners-up. And the faculty will also have a letter that will be sent to each of the winner's institution on behalf of Department of Energy announcing the prize award. So these are just some sample activities. At the bottom, you can see the range of effort. So lower level of effort for integration on the left, up to higher level of effort for the integration on the right. And so activities could be a short or complementary coursework, creating a new coursework, supporting student business plan pitch competitions, all the way down to actually creating an incubator and implementing that too. So there's a range of activities, and I encourage you to explore these different activities to see what makes the most sense. We got lots of great feedback for faculty in 2024, from motivating idea development all the way to accessing resources and to exploring energy curriculum. So we got a lot of great feedback, and we're really looking forward to this round this year. So up to 10 faculty or faculty teams who submit by January 13th will be identified as faculty explorers and receive $5,000 each. This is what the prize document looks like for the Faculty Explorer phase. And so on the left, it describes what you'll submit. The name of the institution, emails. The Explore phase requires all of these different documents and pieces to be submitted on HeroX. And you can see the criteria on the right. This is the faculty implementation phase. So again, you'll be required to include a project title, short description, letter of support, resume, CV. All of these details can be found in the rules document. So winners are determined based on the analysis of need, actionability, support, potential impact, and overall implementation plan. This is what the prizes look like in terms of the categories and the amount and the numbers of award. And again, in addition, a letter will be sent to each winner's institution on behalf of Department of Energy announcing the prize award. So competitors receive resources, mentorship, and support to help them succeed before, during, and beyond the competition. This is the type of support that you will receive. So highlighted energy technologies with business potential, access to Energy I-Core, educational materials, and adoption readiness level framework training, expert mentorship from DOE, industry, and/or lab staff, example presentations from the 2024 competition, cash prizes, and industry connections. I will now pass it back over to Joe. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kristen. So we're now in our 4th year of this program, and we continue to be impressed by the ideas developed by the students the ideas created by faculty, and the outcomes that come through the work that they do in this event. As you've heard from our former alumni, as you've heard from us, we really believe that participation is valuable. Yes, we have prizes, and that is great if you end up winning, but everyone who participates takes value through their participation, whether that's a better understanding of the energy ecosystem, developing their very first business plan for a technology they developed, for a technology developed by their faculty, or otherwise. We find that our competitors are representative of impact on the industry. So we've had over 2,000 competitors participate from over 200 different institutions all across the US, representing 53 different states, DC, and territories. I think we're still missing Rhode Island. So if you're listening from Rhode Island, please make sure you submit that application so we can claim all 50 states. But otherwise, we're very excited that this is so technology agnostic. We have support from the geothermal office, from the Office of Electricity, from the nuclear office, solar, and more, and that we've provided over $1 million in funds to about 85 different teams over the last 4 years. And those students and faculty have gone on to do some really amazing things. These students come from a wide variety of institutions. We've seen community colleges be successful. We see undergraduate students. We see multi-institution teams. We have those from the coasts. We have those from throughout the United States, including Guam, Northern Mariana Islands, Puerto Rico, Alaska, Hawaii, American Samoa, and more. So if you're interested, please know that you're welcome to participate, and there is a pathway for your success. We have also found through participation that all students really find success at the same rates at which they apply. So if we have a certain percentage of undergraduate only teams, about that percent of teams have also won our prizes and have won that prize funding. Similar for graduate students or PhD candidates, we are seeing pretty equal representation and success of participation. You can also see through the colors on this map, we do our best to group our presentations at the regional event into regional activities so that you're presenting to judges who understand your needs and that you're able to hear from other students in areas that might be of interest to you, really building that ecosystem, to connect with that regional convener and to see those different pieces. So again, recognize that participation comes with success for networking, for collaboration, for idea development, and more. And we really look forward to what you have to present. Our students who have participated have found that they learn more about technologies that they weren't seeing in school. They had an ability to talk with mentors and gain that experience in creating a business plan. So if you're in an engineering program or a communications program or a energy program and want to learn more about business plans, this is a great way to do so in just a few weeks in that participation between registering on February 3rd and presenting to judges on March 4th, 5th, or 6th. Additionally, we found that some business students found a ton of value in learning more about the energy industry. A vast majority of our participants found participation to be valuable, reporting increased knowledge of skills required for technology commercialization and an increased interest in an energy career. Additionally, note that about 20% of our teams in the 2024 event and growing year over year are leveraging technologies they found on labpartnering.org. That means that our competitors did not come into that competition with an idea already developed. They didn't come with the technology that they had created, and they found success in winning awards as well. So we're looking forward to seeing that percent continue to grow, but recognize that even if you're going to your faculty and saying, do you have any intellectual property that you're unsure what to do with? You could write a business plan for a technology of your faculty. You could win awards based on that business plan, and that faculty could then receive ideas that helps them create more impact in years to come, even if you don't remain related or working with that faculty or that intellectual property. As mentioned by our alumni, we are excited to be able to gather in person as part of our national event. All of our 28 or 27 finalist teams that are invited to that national event will have previously received an award as part of the finalist activities. This year, that award has increased from $3,000 per team to $5,000 per team. And we hope that means that our student teams are able to travel, are able to attend in a very equitable and insightful way so that they can network with industry members and participate. Our students benefited from that live pitch experience, from engaging with judges and networking with each other and attendees of that national conference. Additionally, and we don't know that this will be true every single year, we were able to provide an opportunity for some of our winners to attend a White House visit and a roundtable discussion hosted by the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy. Really exciting to be able to connect those alumni with additional opportunities for engagement and impact on the market overall. We mentioned this earlier, but we find success from our students to be our biggest driving factor, and our faculty. So maybe that business continues and you're able to secure that business, just like we heard Rise Reforming is pursuing. But also some of those students went and found jobs with mentors that they met through participation in the program. Some of them found an ability to secure their own intellectual property, filing that patent or getting those pieces. Some raised money for a startup that was only in existence because they participated in EnergyTech University. Some secured non-dilutive SBIR funding from the Department of Energy or other federal agencies. Some were accepted into high-profile accelerators like Activate, and some were accepted into national lab commercialization programs. We saw some of our alumni go on to win first place, for example, in the Rice Business Plan competition, or to find success in pursuing greater education, getting accepted into PhD programs or master's programs, and really presenting their business plan as part of their participation. So whatever you do in your activities, we hope that our students find additional opportunities as a result of participation in this program. With that, I'll turn things over briefly to Danny to talk a little bit about what it looks like to present your ideas in the EnergyTech University Prize. Danny.
Thank you, Joe. So you're probably wondering what this entails from a time commitment standpoint, and essentially what kind of time commitment you're looking at, and as far as the when and the where goes. So I'm going to talk about both the Explore event and the pitch event. So as you can see, the first phase of the prize, the Explore event, is all held virtually, so you don't have to worry about even leaving your dorm room or your university campus. All the pitches are held virtually at a predefined time during the first week of March. Next slide. And yeah, so you can see just the number of people and the number of faces involved in this phase is incredible. They run concurrently. You'll be assigned by regions. So we'll have an East region, a Central region, and a Western region, which I believe the details of which are detailed on the next slide here. Okay, so this is the national event. So just to back up, the Explore event will be held during the first week of March. You'll be, if you're in the eastern part of the United States, you'll be assigned that Tuesday, the 4th, Wednesday, the 5th for the central region of the country, and then Thursday, the 6th for the western region. And you will be contacted by that regional convener that Caitlin was Kristen was mentioning at the beginning of the call, to do a virtual pitch competition where you'll present your ideas over the course of a few minutes and be judged against others in your region in hopes of winning a ticket to the national event, which, next slide, will be held in person in Denver, Colorado, that last week of April. So we're asking all if you're deemed a regional winner or a bonus prize finalist, you'll be asked to come to present live at a business plan pitch competition for all of the regional and bonus prize winners, held in conjunction with the Circularity Conference in Denver. Here are some pictures from our pitch competitions held last year and the year before in Austin in conjunction with the Energy Thought Summit. And this is a great opportunity for you to network with fellow teams, with potential funders. Our winners from last year mentioned that they were able to connect with potential funders for their ideas and others to inspire them along through the process. And that national pitch event will take place Tuesday, April 30th in Denver as part of the Circularity Conference, with the winnings the $5,000 from the regional Explorer events, we expect you to arrange travel for your team captain and hopefully a couple other members of your team to travel to Denver for that event at the end of April. Winners will be announced in conjunction with the conference on Wednesday, May 1st, the following day. We hope you are able to stick around as part of the conference for that additional day. And with that, I can turn it over to Jackie.
Thanks, Danny. I'm briefly going to go over how to promote or next steps in getting started in the competition. So first, some of the most pressing steps that you can take are obviously following the prize on HeroX if you haven't already done so. And we will drop a link to that HeroX channel in the chat in just a moment. Again, make sure you read the official rules, which are also on HeroX, and determine how you plan to participate, whether that's as a student or a faculty member. You can be spreading the word using some of the templated promo pack materials that we've created. These live under HeroX or on HeroX under the resources tab, and I will send a link to those as well. But we'll talk about those more in a minute, but we have content created already for you to use to share with students at your college or university or other faculty members. And then lastly, start building out your team and determine who is going to be part of your EnergyTech Up 2025 team. And then down the road, for competing students, we want you to start exploring energy technologies that you want to build your business plan around. And then the most important thing is make sure you click Solve This Challenge on HeroX and submit your register entry. If you're a faculty member, that deadline is January 13th. And if you're a student, that is February 3rd. And then lastly, I mentioned those resources that we've put together for you to help or for you to use to recruit other students and faculty members. This includes content such as social posts, newsletter content, a slide that you could put into a presentation, web cards, and other graphics. And I will put that in the chat right now. So feel free to leverage those as you need to start promoting and recruiting other members to your team. With that, I'll hand it back to Joe.
So my closing remarks is to encourage you to join us and to encourage you to encourage others to join us. Our faculty, as we've mentioned many times, must submit by January 13th to be considered for that Faculty Explorer Award, and by April 25th for the national prizes. For the Faculty Explorer Award, note that it is a pretty small but not tiny barrier to entry, with about a 3-page document that identifies the background of your institution, yourself, and the issues that you're hoping to address, with the idea that you have. It's not a full plan for how you would do so, but it does take a little bit of time to prepare. So if you have some break between teaching or otherwise between now and January 13th, please do keep that in mind and read the rules so you understand how best to participate. We did announce, and you can see last year, that there were about 50 Faculty Explorer participating teams in the 2024 activity. So it is competitive, but also there's a good chance of success with us being able to award 10 Faculty Explorers. So we highly encourage you to prioritize this amongst your busy schedules and look forward to your activities. If you're a student listening, know that you can tell your faculty, hey, I think you should apply to this, and they can consider it, or vice versa. Faculty, you can tell your students, I think you should participate. For faculty, also recognize that we have seen several teams successfully integrate this into the courses that they teach, saying that if you maybe have a class of 20 students, you could encourage them to create 5 different teams of 4 students each, and then present or submit ideas by February 3rd and integrate it into your spring coursework. So this could be a class assignment, and we can have multiple student teams from a single institution. Towards that end, students recognize that you must submit that 200-word summary of a technology to be leveraged and the business opportunity by February 3rd to be able to be one of those 225 teams invited to the Regional Explore events. The intent here is that many different teams are able to get that experience presenting live to judges and getting feedback, while also hearing 14 other pitches that help them to better understand the energy industry, the energy ecosystem. So that is unique. In many other competitions, you might see that your entry goes into a black box and then you submit something in writing or a recording of your video, and then later you find out whether or not you won or you didn't win. In this program, we're very excited that our regional conveners help make it possible for so many different teams from so many different schools to be able to present their ideas live, to hear other pitches, and to get feedback on their solutions. So this is unique. We look forward to your entries. It is a low barrier to entry. Submit that 200-word summary by February 3rd to be able to be one of those 225 teams invited to compete. With that, we'll turn things over. We have about 10 minutes for questions. And Jackie, maybe you can walk us through what's in our Q&A section.
Yeah, happy to do that. Some of these were submitted during the presentation, so I'm just going to read them, even if we've already addressed them, to make sure that questions are answered thoroughly. The first question, are faculty who are associated with a DOE-owned lab, such as NREL, eligible to apply?
That's a good question. We should probably check our rules and the criteria. If you send an email to ott.energytechup@nrel.gov, we will double check with DOE legal to be sure. So please follow up with us and we will address elsewhere.
Next question, where do we find the student grading rubric for the submission and business plan outline?
Sure. So you definitely go to herox.com/energytechup, go to the resources, and then read the rules. So let me show my screen very quickly in terms of how quickly we can accomplish this activity. So herox.com/energytechup, you can go to resources and you can see our official rules. And within that, the rubric is defined. As mentioned by our alumni, highly recommend following the rubric, as you note that this is different from other competitions. Our judges are not tasked to say, is this the right team or the strength of your resume or your CV? They're not trying to say, is this the most impactful innovation or technology in the world? Rather, it really is this the right business plan for that given energy technology? So review our rubric so that you can have the highest chance of success.
Thanks, Joe. Just a reminder also, we are going to be sending out a copy of these slides and a recording of today's presentation. But continuing with the questions, can a team of students and non-students participate?
Yes, the team captain has to be an actively enrolled student, but the team can be larger than that. So the rules will explain that in the eligibility criteria as well.
Great. And just to reiterate, graduate students are eligible to participate?
They are of any level. So we can have community college students, we can have undergraduate students, graduate students, and PhD candidates. The only requirement is that you are still enrolled in pursuing a degree. So if your degree has been awarded and you are a postdoc as a graduate or a PhD, you are no longer eligible as a student. But if you're still pursuing that degree and actively enrolled in at least one class, you are eligible.
Great. Is there any requirement that the technology needs to be invented in the US?
The rules do not specify a requirement, but there is in the additional terms and conditions possible preferences. So I would encourage you to read the entire rules and see how that might be evaluated by the judges. But the primary expectation is how it's being implemented as well.
Okay, and if a PhD student is working as a lecturer at a university, can they apply to both the student and faculty tracks?
That is a good question. We have some explanation of what we mean when we say faculty in the rules. I'd encourage you to read that language, and if it's still not clear, please follow up with us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. Great.
How can we find the 100 or so highlighted technologies on the lab partnering website?
Sure. So in labpartnering.org, if you go to explore and by popular topic, you can see EnergyTech University Prize. And in that area, you can see 151 technologies that the various national labs told us they feel are particularly relevant or ready for commercialization and might be of higher interest to you. It's a little bit easier to look at 150 entries than to look at 2,000, but you're welcome to consider any of those technologies. So maybe you look at a business plan for energy efficient smart windows, or you look at a new approach for a new type of CPU cooler, and you want to write a business plan for that area, you're welcome to do so through all of these different pieces. But energytechup.labpartnering.org.
Great. What is the best pathway for non-US students to enter the competition?
So the team needs to be led by a US-based institution with a student who is enrolled in that degree program. So if you found a partnership and you wanted to be part of that team, you could help to develop those activities. And if that team wins any awards, it's up to that team captain who receives the funds to decide what they do with that. But the winner is based on the eligibility criteria, and only students who are actively enrolled at US-based institutions are able to present live to judges.
And I guess on that note, what is the eligibility for students on a gap year?
You would not be actively pursuing a degree and enrolled in at least one class. So then you'd have to find a partnership or otherwise pursue perhaps a 1 hour elective credit or something like that as well. So you might look at the eligibility criteria and see if you can find a solution either through a partnership with another student who could be that team captain, or through selective enrollment in pursuit of your degree.
How many ideas can a team submit?
So each person can be associated with one team captain role, but you could leverage multiple technologies in your proposal. So we don't expect you to be on leading more than one team, but you could say this business plan leverages a technology from Sandia National Lab and a different technology from Argonne National Lab and something we developed as students. That's totally fine.
Great. We had a question about, do you have to apply to the region where your university is located?
So you don't actually apply to a region, you just submit a registration, and then based on the registrations that we receive, we'll do our best to allocate the applications in an equitable way. So maybe we get 35 entries from the Mountain West and can't accommodate all of them with our Mountain West conveners, then some people at the periphery might be relocated into the Pacific Northwest or similar. And so we'll do our best. You might be able to indicate in your entry why you think East is most appropriate to your entry, but generally it's us trying to allocate a range based on the applications received in the most equitable way possible.
Great. Can a non-US citizen attending a US-based institution apply as a team captain? I know you kind of already covered that.
To be a team captain, you have to be a U.S. resident, U.S. citizen or permanent resident. So the captain, so that we can pay those prize dollars, it has to be in accordance with the eligibility criteria. So you could be part of that team and you could present to judges, but it would not be able to be the team captain.
Great. And last question, can we apply as a business school or MBA student?
For sure, absolutely. Every degree program is welcome. So we highly encourage business students or MBA students to participate.
Great. There were a couple questions we didn't get to, Joe, but I know we're right at time. So do you want to go ahead and close this out?
I'll go very quickly in the couple I see. For funding available for travel to Denver, just note that if you are a finalist, you will have won at least $5,000. So we hope that you can use some of that prize money to be able to travel. The intent is that you don't have to dip into your own pocket or funding mechanisms to be able to travel. There is some clarification in the rules about what we mean when we say faculty. So is professional staff included or not? If that's unclear to you, follow up with us at ott.energytechup@nrel.gov. And you can see our rules for the Arctic Energy Office Prize at herox.com in the resources section and in these December rules. It also includes our Arctic Energy Prize as well. So we can correct that link for the person who noted that. With that, I think we're just over time. So thank you all for your participation. We look forward to your entries and please do promote the program to others. Thank you so much.